Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Talk English Now. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to talk about the kinds of words and expressions Americans use every single day. These are the phrases that fill conversations, make speech sound natural, and help you connect more easily when you listen or speak in English. I want you to feel like you are sitting with me in a quiet space, practicing step by step as if I were your private English coach. So let's begin slowly, and I'll guide you through the words that truly matter in everyday life. One of the first words you'll hear constantly in American English is the simple word hey. It's casual, warm, and very common. Instead of always saying hello, people often just say hey. If a friend sees you on the street, they might call out, "Hey, how are you?" Practice this with me. Say softly, "Hey." Imagine greeting someone at the coffee shop, at school, or at work. It sounds relaxed, friendly, and approachable. Another everyday word is yeah. Americans use yeah instead of yes so often that you'll hear it everywhere. Yeah feels less formal, more natural. For example, if someone asks, "Do you want some coffee?" the answer might simply be, "Yeah, sure." Try repeating that with me. Yeah, sure. Notice the rhythm. It rises slightly on yeah and falls gently on sure. This rhythm is part of what makes English sound smooth. Let's practice another very common word, cool. In daily American conversations, cool can mean good, great, or I understand. If your friend says, "I'll meet you at 6, you might reply, "Cool, see you then." Repeat it after me. Cool. It's short, easy, and friendly. Americans love using it because it fits in almost any casual situation. Next, think about how often you hear okay, sometimes shortened to okay, or even just K in T, exting. But in speaking, okay is everywhere. It can mean agreement, acceptance, or simply that you heard the person. Someone might say, "I'll call you later," and you respond, "Okay." Repeat that with me. Okay. Notice how soft and neutral it sounds. It doesn't add much emotion, but it keeps the flow of conversation going. Another daily expression is, you know. Americans often use it while speaking casually, not because they need you to know, but because it helps them think while they talk. For example, it was, kind of busy at work today. Try practicing this, Say it smoothly, as if you are filling the space in a conversation. When you use it, you sound more natural, less robotic. Let's pause here and practice a short dialogue together using these words. Imagine this exchange. Person A says, "Hey, do you want to grab lunch later?" Person B says, "Yeah, that sounds cool." Person A says, "Okay, I'll text you the place." Person B says, "Cool, see you soon." Repeat this slowly after me, sentence by sentence. This practice helps you hear how real conversations flow in daily American life. Another word you'll hear almost every minute is like, not just as a verb, but as a filler word. People say, "I was so tired yesterday," or "She was really happy." While it's not always necessary, it is so common that you will hear it in everyday American speech. Practice saying, "I was really busy today." Say it with me. I was like really busy today. Notice the rhythm. It's casual, everyday, and easy to blend into conversation. Let's move to another important everyday word, stuff. Americans love using the word stuff when they don't want to list specific items. Instead of saying, I have many things to do, they might say, I have a lot of stuff to do. Try saying it with me. I have a lot of stuff to do. It sounds very natural. Use stuff when you want to speak more casually. Next is gonna. This is the short form of going to. In spoken English, I'm going to call you becomes I'm gonna call you. Repeat with me, I'm gonna call you later. This contraction is used constantly. You will rarely hear Americans pronounce going to clearly in daily speech unless they are being very formal. Instead, it becomes gonna. Practicing this makes your speech sound smoother and closer to real American English. Another everyday expression is what's up. This is a casual way of asking how someone is doing. When friends meet, they often say, "Hey, what's up?" The answer can be as simple as, "Not much," or "Just hanging out." Practice with me. Say, "What's up?" Then answer, "Not much," or "Just hanging out." This is one of the most common greetings in America, and knowing it will help you sound friendly and confident. Let's practice a mini conversation again. Imagine this. Person A says, "Hey, what's up?" Person B says, "Not much, just busy with stuff." Person A says, "Yeah, same here." Person B says, "Cool, talk later." Repeat each line with me, slowly. This gives you a taste of how simple words create the foundation of real daily English conversations. Another word you should practice is really. Americans use really to emphasize feelings or statements. For example, "That's really good," or "I'm really tired." Practice with me. That's really good. I'm really tired. The word adds strength and emotion. Without it, sentences sound flat. With it, you sound more expressive and natural. A close cousin is pretty used as an intensifier, not just meaning beautiful, but meaning quite. You'll hear people say, "It's pretty good," or "She's pretty nice." Practice this with me. It's pretty good. She's pretty nice. Notice how soft and casual it feels. It's less formal than very, but very common in daily speech. Let's add kind of. This phrase makes statements softer, less strong. For example, "I'm kind of tired," or "It's kind of hard to explain." Repeat with me. I'm kind of tired. It's kind of hard to explain. Using kind of makes you sound gentle, relaxed, and more natural in everyday English. Another important phrase is I mean. People use it to explain or correct themselves. For example, "It was really fun. I mean, a little tiring too." Repeat with me. Say it smoothly, not too strong. It's like opening a small door to clarify your thoughts. Let's do another practice conversation with these. Person A says, "Hey, that movie was pretty good." Person B says, "Yeah, it was kind of long, but still cool." Person A says, "Yeah, I really liked it." Practice this exchange with me, slowly. Notice how natural it sounds with words like pretty, and kind of. Everyday American English also loves the word literally. People use it even when they don't mean it literally. For example, I was literally dying of laughter. Practice with me. I was literally dying of laughter. It's often an exaggeration, but it makes speech more dramatic. So when you hear it, don't take it too literally. Another word that appears constantly is actually. It's used to correct, emphasize, or add detail. For example, I actually like that idea, or it's actually not that hard. Practice with me. I actually like that idea. It's actually not that hard. The word gives weight to your opinion. It makes you sound thoughtful and engaged. Let's review with another dialogue. Person A says, "Do you like pizza?" Person B says, "Yeah, I actually love it." Person A says, "Cool, me too." Repeat with me. Yeah, I actually love it. Short, clear, and very natural. We'll keep going deeper, but before we do, let me give you a friendly reminder. If you're enjoying this lesson, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. It really helps you stay connected, and it supports us in bringing you new lessons every day. Thank you for being here with me. Now let's continue with another everyday phrase. No worries. Americans often say this instead of "it's okay" or "don't worry." For example, if someone apologizes for being late, you might say, "No worries." Repeat it with me. No worries. It's kind, casual, and very friendly. It makes the other person feel comfortable. Another one is, for sure. It's used to agree strongly. If someone says, "That was a great game," you might reply, "For sure. Practice this with me." For sure. It's like saying, "Absolutely," but in a relaxed American style. We've practiced a lot already, but keep going with me. These words and phrases are the heart of everyday English. The more you hear them, repeat them, and feel them, the more natural your English will become. Let's add another phrase that you will hear in American English almost every day. By the way, this expression is used when someone wants to add information that is not directly connected to the main topic. For example, "By the way, did you see that new show?" It's like gently changing direction in a conversation. Repeat with me. By the way. It makes your speech sound more natural and conversational. Another word Americans love is awesome. It's an enthusiastic way of saying great or wonderful. For example, "That concert was awesome." Practice with me. That's awesome. You can use it to respond positively in many situations, and it adds energy to your speaking style. Closely connected is the word amazing. Americans often say amazing for things they enjoy. It might sound strong, but people use it for everyday things too. "That cake was amazing," or "She's amazing at soccer." Repeat with me. That's amazing. It helps you show excitement and positivity in your tone. Another common expression is, "I guess." People use this to show they are not completely sure, but they are leaning toward one answer. For example, "I guess I'll go to the party," or "I guess it's okay." Practice with me. I guess. It makes your speech sound thoughtful, a little softer, and less direct. Next, practice no way. This is often used when someone is surprised or shocked. For example, no way, really? Practice with me. No way. It shows emotion quickly, and Americans use it a lot in casual conversations with friends. Another phrase that you should know is at all. It's used for emphasis, especially in negative sentences. For example, I don't like that at all, or it doesn't matter at all. Repeat with me. At all. It gives extra strength to what you're saying. Let's practice a conversation that combines these. Person A says, "That restaurant was amazing." Person B says, "Yeah, it was awesome. I guess we should go there again." Person A says, "No way, it's too expensive." Person B says, "Really? I didn't think so at all." Repeat this exchange with me slowly, letting the rhythm of each phrase guide you. Another expression that is everywhere in American English is you guys. It's a very common way to refer to a group of people, even if there are women in the group. Instead of saying you all, most Americans just say you guys. For example, are you guys ready? Practice with me. You guys. It sounds friendly, casual, and very natural. Let's add all set. This phrase means everything is ready or finished. For example, a waiter might say, "Are you all set?" And you can answer, "Yeah, I'm all set." Practice this with me. I'm all set. It's short and useful in many daily situations. Another very common phrase is, "I'm good." Americans often use it to politely say no. For example, if someone offers you more food, you can say, "No thanks, I'm good." Repeat with me. I'm good. It's polite, casual, and used every day. Next is sounds good. This is used to show agreement. If someone says, "Let's meet at 5, you can reply, "Sounds good." Practice with me. Sounds good. It's smooth, quick, and natural. Another phrase you'll hear all the time is for real. People use it to ask if something is true or to show they agree strongly. For example, "Are you for real?" means, "Are you serious?" And "That was fun." For real means, "Really, it was fun." Repeat with me. For real. Let's put some of these into practice together. Imagine this exchange. Person A says, "Are you guys all set to leave?" Person B says, "Yeah, we're good." Person A says, "Okay, let's go at 6." Person B says, "Sounds good." Person A says, "For real, this is going to be fun." Practice each line with me. These are the kinds of short, simple exchanges you will hear constantly in everyday life. Another word you'll notice is literally again, but in softer situations, people use it just to emphasize almost anything. For example, "I'm literally starving," or "It was literally the best day." Even when it's not true, practice with me. I'm literally starving. It was literally the best day. You don't need to use it often, but you should recognize it when you hear it. Another everyday word is whatever. Americans use it to show they don't care strong, gly about something. For example, "We can eat pizza or burgers, whatever." Practice this with me. Whatever. It sounds casual, even a little relaxed or careless. Be careful with your tone, though, because sometimes it can sound rude if you say it too sharply. Another phrase you'll hear constantly is kind of like. This makes comparisons sound soft and casual. For example, it's kind of like a smaller version. Repeat this with me. Kind of like. It's a gentle way of explaining or comparing things in everyday conversations. Next, let's look at pretty much. People use it to say something is almost completely true. For example, that's pretty much what happened, or it's pretty much done. Repeat with me. Pretty much. It's useful when you want to be clear, but also a little casual. Another phrase is right now. Americans love using it to mean immediately, at this moment. For example, I'm busy right now, or I can't talk right now. Repeat with me. Right now. It's short and powerful, used in almost every type of conversation. Another one is as well. It's a softer way to say too. For example, I'll have water as well. Repeat with me. As well. It makes your sentences sound polite and complete. Let's practice a small dialogue with these. Person A says, "Do you want to eat now or later?" Person B says, "Whatever, I'm good either way." Person A says, "Okay, let's eat right now." Person B says, "Cool, I'll grab a drink as well." Practice this slowly with me. These are real, everyday exchanges. Another common phrase is, "That's fine." Americans often use it to accept a plan or agree. For example, "We can meet tomorrow." That's fine. Repeat with me. That's fine. It's polite, simple, and natural. Let's also practice no problem. This is one of the friendliest American expressions. It's often used instead of "you're welcome." For example, if someone says, "Thanks for helping," you can answer, "No problem." Repeat with me. No problem. It makes you sound relaxed and kind. Another one is take care. This is a common way to say goodbye politely. For example, "See you later, take care." Repeat with me. Take care. It's warm and positive. Americans use it when they want to leave the conversation in a kind way. Another everyday phrase is "see you later." This is more common than goodbye in casual situations. Practice with me. See you later. It's easy, natural, and friendly. Let's pause and combine these into a real mini conversation. Person A says, "Thanks for helping me out today." Person B says, "No problem." Person A says, "Okay, take care." Person B says, "Yeah, see you later." Practice this back and forth with me. It's simple, but it reflects the way Americans talk every single day. Another useful phrase is hang out. It means spending time together casually. For example, "Do you want to hang out after class?" Repeat with me, hang out. It's friendly and very common. You'll hear it from young people all the time. Another one is chill. In American English, chill can mean relax or spend time calmly. For example, "I just want to chill at home." Repeat with me. Chill. It's informal but very popular in daily life. Another phrase is no big deal. People use this to say something is not a problem. For example, thanks for waiting. Oh, it's no big deal. Repeat with me. No big deal. It makes your speech polite and easygoing. Another phrase is all right. People use it to show agreement, understanding, or to begin something. For example, all right. Hey, let's go. Repeat with me. All right. It's flexible and used in many situations. Now, let's practice one more mini dialogue together. Person A says, "Do you want to hang out tomorrow?" Person B says, "Yeah, that sounds chill." Person A says, "All right, see you then." Person B says, "Cool, no big deal if plans change." Practice this with me slowly. Notice how natural these words sound in conversation. The beauty of these everyday words is that they're simple, but they carry the rhythm and character of real American English. The more you practice them, the more they will slip naturally into your speech, and soon you'll find yourself using them without even thinking. Let's continue with another word that you'll hear all the time in American English, buddy. This is a casual way of saying friend, often used between men but also in general friendly situations. For example, "Hey buddy, how's it going?" Practice this with me. Hey buddy. It's warm, friendly, and makes the tone of conversation softer. Another word is dude. You will hear this constantly, especially among younger people. Dude can mean friend or just be a way to call someone's attention. For example, "Dude, that was amazing," or "Dude, what are you doing?" Repeat after me. Dude. It's casual, fun, and very American. Another expression is no kidding. This is used to show agreement or surprise. For example, "That test was really hard." No kidding. Practice with me. No kidding. It makes you sound like you're engaged in the conversation. Another phrase that you will hear daily is, come on. People say it to encourage someone or to show disbelief. For example, "Come on, you can do it," or "Come on, that's not true." Practice this with me. Come on. It's short, expressive, and very common. Next is seriously. People use this to emphasize how true something is or to show surprise. For example, "That's seriously amazing," or "Seriously, you did that?" Repeat after me. Seriously. It's strong, but also natural in everyday English. Another word you'll hear is totally. It's often used to strongly agree with someone. For example, "That was fun." Totally. Practice with me. Totally. It's one of the simplest ways to sound like a native when agreeing with someone. Let's practice with a dialogue that combines these words. Person A says, "Dude, that movie was amazing." Person B says, "Seriously, it was totally awesome." Person A says, "Yeah, no kidding." Person B says, "Come on, we should watch it again, buddy." Repeat this slowly with me. Notice how these short, casual words create a natural rhythm. Another everyday phrase is "what's going on?" This is another way to say "what's happening?" or "how are you?" For example, "Hey, what's going on?" The answer might be "not much" or "just working." Practice with me. What's going on? It's very common in greetings. Another phrase is "I don't know." In real American speech, this often becomes "I don't know." For example, Are you going to the party? I don't know. Practice this with me. I don't know. It's softer, quicker, and very common in daily conversations. Next is, let's go. People use it to show excitement or to start doing something. For example, the game is starting, let's go. Repeat after me, let's go. It's energetic and positive. Another phrase you'll hear all the time is, hold on. This means wait. For example, hold on, I'll be right there. Repeat with me. Hold on. It's polite and useful in daily life. Another word is right. Americans often use right at the end of a sentence to confirm agreement. For example, it's really cold today, right? Practice this with me. Right? It's a simple way to check if someone agrees with you. Let's put these into practice. Person A says, "Hey, what's going on?" Person B says, "Not much, just hanging out." Person A says, "Are you going to the game?" Person B says, "I don't know, maybe." Person A says, "Come on, let's go, it'll be fun." Person B says, "Hold on, I need to grab my stuff first." Repeat this step by step with me. These are the kinds of exchanges you'll hear every day. Another everyday expression is kind of weird. People often describe situations this way. For example, that was kind of weird. Repeat with me. Kind of weird. It softens the feeling, but also makes it clear. Another one is pretty good. Instead of just saying good, Americans often say pretty good. For example, how was the movie? Pretty good. Repeat with me. Pretty good. It sounds natural and casual. Another phrase is, what do you mean? This is used when you need clarification. For example, what do you mean? Can you explain? Practice with me. What do you mean? It's very common in everyday conversations. Another useful word is exactly. People use it to agree strongly. For example, that's what I was thinking. Exactly. Repeat with me. Exactly. It's short, clear, and powerful. Another everyday phrase is, you're welcome. While Americans often say, no problem, you're welcome is still common and polite. Practice with me. You're welcome. It's a friendly response when someone thanks you. Let's do another practice conversation. Person A says, thanks for helping me. Person B says, you're welcome. Person A says, that was kind of weird, right? Person B says, yeah, but it was pretty good overall. Person A says, what do you mean? Person B says, exactly what I said. It wasn't bad. Repeat this slowly with me. Practice hearing and saying these words together. Another word you'll hear all the time is maybe. People use it to avoid giving a strong yes or no. For example, are you coming? Maybe. Repeat with me. Maybe. It's a short, soft, and very common answer. Another is probably. People use this when something is likely but not certain. For example, are you going? Probably. Repeat with me. Probably. It makes you sound natural when you're not completely sure. Another very common phrase is sounds like. For example, that sounds like fun. Repeat with me. Sounds like. It's often used to respond to someone's idea or plan. Another is come over. This means to visit someone's house. For example, do you want to come over later? Repeat with me. Come over. It's very common among friends. Another phrase is I gotta. This is the short form of I have to. In daily speech, I have to go becomes I gotta go. Repeat with me. I gotta go. This contraction makes your speech smoother and more natural. Let's practice these in a dialogue. Person A says, do you want to come over later? Person B says, maybe, I'm not sure. Person A says, come on, it sounds like fun. Person B says, yeah, probably, but I gotta finish some work first. Repeat this slowly with me. Notice how these short words and phrases connect naturally. Another phrase is guess what? People use this to introduce surprising news. For example, guess what? I got a new job. Repeat with me. Guess what? It's friendly and exciting. Another one is long story short. Americans use this when they want to explain something quickly. For example, long story short, we missed the bus. Practice with me. Long story short. It makes your speaking smoother and to the point. Another phrase is no way around it. This means something cannot be avoided. For example, we have to finish this project. There's no way around it. Repeat with me. No way around it. It sounds natural in serious situations. Another one is good to go. This means ready. For example, are we ready? Yeah, we're good to go. Repeat with me. Good to go. It's cheerful and common in daily English. Let's combine these into another practice dialogue. Person A says, guess what? I got tickets for the show. Person B says, no way, that's awesome. Person A says, yeah, long story short, my friend had extras. Person B says, cool, so we're good to go tonight? Person A says, exactly, no way around it, we're going. Practice these sentences with me slowly, repeating each line. Another everyday phrase is, give me a second. People use this when they need a little time. For example, give me a second, I'll be ready. Repeat with me. Give me a second. It's polite and common. Another phrase is, be right back, often shortened to BRB in texting. In speaking, people say, I'll be right back when leaving for a short moment. Practice with me. I'll be right back. It's casual and useful in many situations. Another one is kind of like that. This helps you explain something by giving a similar idea. For example, it's kind of like that movie we watched. Repeat with me. Kind of like that. It's soft and casual. Another phrase is out of nowhere. This is used to describe something surprising. For example, the rain started out of nowhere. Practice with me. Out of nowhere. It adds color to your storytelling. Another word is anyway. Americans use anyway to return to the main topic or to move forward. For example, anyway, let's get back to work. Repeat with me. Anyway. It's one of the most common transition words in everyday speech. Every time you practice these small but powerful words, your English becomes more natural. They are the glue that holds conversations together. Without them, your speech sounds too formal. With them, you sound more fluent, casual, and connected to real life. Let's keep building your listening and speaking practice with another phrase that is very common: kind of tired or sort of tired. Americans often use kind of or sort of instead of saying something directly. For example, I'm kind of busy right now, or it's sort of late to call. Repeat with me, I'm kind of busy right now. It's sort of late to call. Using these softeners makes your English sound gentle and natural. Another everyday expression is all kinds of. This means many types or varieties. For example, they sell all kinds of snacks at that store. Practice with me. All kinds of. It adds variety and color to your sentences. Another word you will hear constantly is stuff like that. Instead of naming every detail, Americans say this to finish their thought. For example, we talked about movies, music, stuff like that. Repeat with me, stuff like that. It's casual, quick, and very common in conversation. Next is you bet. This is a cheerful way to say of course or sure. For example, thanks for your help. You bet. Practice with me. You bet. It's short, friendly, and easy to use. Another one is no doubt. People use it to show strong agreement. For example, that was the best pizza, no doubt. Repeat with me. No doubt. It's casual, but it gives strength to your ope. Neon. Another phrase you'll hear a lot is, I get it. This is used to show you understand someone. For example, I get it, you're busy. Repeat with me. I get it. It shows empathy and understanding. Let's practice a short dialogue with these. Person A says, I've been kind of tired lately. Person B says, yeah, me too, all kinds of work to do. Person A says, we just need to relax, watch movies, stuff like that. Person B says, you bet, that always helps. Person A says, no doubt. Person B says, I get it, life gets busy. Repeat this slowly with me. Listen to how casual and natural these words feel. Another common phrase is, don't worry about it. Americans use this to calm someone or to say it's not a problem. For example, sorry for being late. Don't worry about it. Repeat with me. Don't worry about it. It's polite and makes people feel comfortable. Another phrase is, I'm into it. This means you like something. For example, are you into sports? Yeah, I'm into soccer. Practice with me. I'm into it. It's casual and very useful when talking about hobbies or interests. Another everyday phrase is, sort it out. This means to fix a problem. For example, don't worry, we'll sort it out. Repeat with me, sort it out. It's practical and very common. Another one is, give it a try. Americans use this to encourage action. For example, I don't know if I can do it. Just give it a try. Repeat with me. Give it a try. It's positive and supportive. Another phrase you'll hear is, sounds like a plan. This is a way to agree on something. For example, let's meet tomorrow. Sounds like a plan. Practice with me. Sounds like a plan. It's cheerful and natural. And Another everyday word is maybe later. This is a polite way to say no without closing the option completely. For example, do you want dessert? Maybe later. Repeat with me. Maybe later. It's soft, polite, and often used. Let's put these into a short conversation. Person A says, "Thanks for waiting for me." Person B says, "Don't worry about it." Person A says, "Do you want to watch the game?" Person B says, "Yeah, I'm into it, but we'll have to sort out dinner first." Person A says, "Okay, let's just give it a try." Person B says, "Sounds like a plan. Maybe later we can get dessert." Repeat this slowly with me. This is how Americans use everyday words in friendly, natural exchanges. Another phrase is, "that works." People say this to show something is acceptable. For example, "We can meet at 5. That works. Repeat with me. That works. It's short and practical. Another one is, "That's the thing." This is used to introduce an important point. For example, "I want to go out, but that's the thing. I'm too tired." Repeat with me. That's the thing. It sounds natural and thoughtful. Another phrase is, "It depends." People use this to show the answer is not fixed. For example, "Do you like the movie?" It depends. Repeat with me. It depends. It's a flexible and useful response. Another is, "kind of depends." This softens the phrase even more. For example, "Are you free this weekend?" Kind of depends on my work. Practice with me. Kind of depends. This sounds casual and very natural. Another phrase you'll hear often is, "It makes sense." This shows understanding. For example, "We'll leave early to avoid traffic." That makes sense. Repeat with me. That makes sense. It's polite, supportive, and everyday American English. Let's combine these in a small practice dialogue. Person A says, "Should we go out tonight?" Person B says, "It depends. I'm kind of tired." Person A says, "That's the thing. I feel tired too." Person B says, "So maybe we stay in. Does that work?" Person A says, "Yeah, that makes sense." Repeat these lines slowly with me. It's exactly how friends speak every day. Another everyday expression is, "good call." This means a smart decision. For example, "Let's bring an umbrella." Good call. Repeat with me. Good call. It's short and natural. Another is, "check it out." People use this when they want you to look at something. For example, "Check it out, this new app is great." Practice with me. Check it out. It's casual and very common. Another phrase is, "don't get me wrong." This is used before saying something negative to make it softer. For example, "Don't get me wrong, I like him, but he talks too much." Repeat with me. Don't get me wrong. It makes your opinion sound more polite. Another word is, "whatever works." This shows flexibility. For example, "Should we meet at 2 or 3? Whatever works. Practice with me. Whatever works. It's friendly and easygoing. Another everyday phrase is, "long time no see." People use this when they meet someone they haven't seen for a while. For example, "Hey, long time no see." Repeat with me. Long time no see. It's cheerful and friendly. Another phrase you'll hear constantly is, "what's the matter?" This is used when someone looks upset. For example, "You look sad. What's the matter?" Repeat with me. What's the matter? It's caring and natural. Let's do another mini conversation. Person A says, "Hey, long time no see." Person B says, "Yeah, it's been forever. Check it out. I changed my phone." Person A says, "Good call. That looks nice." Person B says, "Don't get me wrong. I liked the old one, but it was too slow." Person A says, "Whatever works, right?" Person B says, "Yeah, exactly." Repeat these lines with me slowly. Notice how each phrase adds rhythm and friendliness to the conversation. Another phrase is "no worries at all." It's a stronger, kinder version of "no worries." For example, "Sorry for bothering you." No worries at all. Repeat with me. No worries at all. It makes people feel reassured. Another one is "let me think." People often use this when they need a moment to answer. For example, "What do you want to eat?" Let me think. Repeat with me. Let me think. It's natural and gives you time in a conversation. Another phrase is "not really." This is used to politely say no. For example, "Do you like horror movies?" Not really. Repeat with me. Not really. It's polite, simple, and used daily. Another is "sort of like." This helps explain by comparing. For example, "It's sort of like the other restaurant we went to." Practice with me. Sort of like. It's casual and common. Another everyday phrase is "in a sec." This is the short form of "in a second." For example, "I'll be there in a sec." Repeat with me. In a sec. It's quick and very American. Every time you add these words to your listening and speaking, you're building the foundation of fluency. The goal is not just to memorize words, but to hear them, feel them, and practice them until they come out naturally. Little by little, you're learning to sound more like a native speaker in daily conversations. Another everyday word that you'll hear are constantly in American English is "actually." We touched on it earlier, but let's practice more deeply. People use "actually" when they want to correct something politely or emphasize their real opinion. For example, "I actually like this one better," or "Actually, I can't go tonight." Repeat with me. Actually. It adds a gentle but clear focus to your sentence. Another useful phrase is "kind of funny." Americans love describing situations in this way. For example, "That was kind of funny," or "It's kind of funny how things work out." Repeat with me. Kind of funny. It makes your speech sound relaxed and conversational. Another phrase you'll hear is "I guess so." This is a softer way of agreeing, not too strong, not too weak. For example, "Do you want to go?" "I guess so." Repeat after me. "I guess so." It's one of those phrases you'll hear everywhere in casual conversations. Another one is "don't mention it." This is another polite way to respond when someone thanks you. For example, "Thanks for helping me." Don't mention it. Practice with me. Don't mention it. It's polite, casual, and natural. Another very common phrase is "what's the deal?" People say this when they want to understand something confusing. For example, "What's the deal with the delay?" Repeat with me. What's the deal? It's casual but very American. Another one is no way around it. We practiced this before, but let's reinforce it. It's used when something is unavoidable. For example, we have to finish this. There's no way around it. Repeat with me. No way around it. It makes your speech stronger and more natural. Another phrase is sort of depends. This makes your answer flexible. For example, do you like sports? Sort of depends on the season. Repeat with me. Sort of depends. This is casual and very common. Let's pause for a small practice dialogue. Person A says, "Thanks for picking me up." Person B says, "Don't mention it." Person A says, "So, what's the deal with the new project?" Person B says, "Actually, it's kind of funny, but nobody has started yet." Person A says, "Really? I guess so. There's no way around it, though." Person B says, "Yeah, it sort of depends on who takes the lead." Practice each line with me. This is the flow of everyday American English. Another word is whatever. We practiced before, but notice how often Americans use it casually when they don't care strongly. For example, we can order pizza or burgers, whatever. Practice with me, whatever. It's relaxed, short, and often used in daily conversations. Another phrase is all set to go. This is a cheerful way of saying ready. For example, are you ready? Yeah, all set to go. Repeat with me. All set to go. It makes you sound prepared and friendly. Another phrase is don't worry, I got it. People use this when they want to reassure someone that they can handle something. For example, who's going to clean up? Don't worry, I got it. Practice with me. Don't worry, I got it. It's warm and helpful. Another phrase you'll hear is, that's enough. This is used to stop something or to say you don't need more. For example, that's enough sugar in my coffee. Practice with me. That's enough. It's practical and used daily. Another very common phrase is not bad. Americans use this to mean something is good, even though it sounds like the opposite. For example, how was the movie? Not bad. Repeat way, the me. Not bad. It's a casual, friendly way to give a positive answer. Another is, that's it. This is used to mean something is finished or complete. For example, that's it, we're done. Practice with me. That's it. It's quick, clear, and everyday English. Let's build a short dialogue with these. Person A says, "Are you all set to go?" Person B says, "Yeah, I'm ready. Don't worry, I got it." Person A says, "Okay, that's enough packing then." Person B says, "How does the bag look?" Person A says, "Not bad." Person B says, "Great, that's it. We're ready." Practice this with me. Notice how smooth and simple these exchanges feel. Another everyday word is literally again, but softer. People often exaggerate with it. For example, I was literally so tired yesterday. Repeat with me. Literally. You'll hear it all the time in casual speech. Another one is not really sure. This is used when someone is uncertain. For example, are you going to the party? I'm not really sure. Practice with me? I'm not really sure. It sounds polite and natural. Another phrase is, how come? This means why in casual American English. For example, How come you didn't call? Repeat with me. How come? It's casual but extremely common. Another phrase is, I'm good with that. This is a way of showing agreement. For example, do you want to meet at 5? Yeah, I'm good with that. Practice with me. I'm good with that. It's simple, polite, and everyday English. Another phrase is, take it easy. Americans often say this as a goodbye, meaning relax or be well. For example, see you tomorrow, take it easy. Repeat with me, take it easy. It's friendly and casual. Another one is out of the blue. This is used for something surprising. For example, he called me out of the blue. Practice with me. Out of the blue. It makes your storytelling more natural. Let's practice a small conversation again. Person A says, Hey, how come you didn't text yesterday? Person B says, I'm not really sure. It was out of the blue. My phone stopped working. Person A says, Okay, I'm good with that excuse. Person B says, Thanks. Take it easy. Practice each line with me. These small words are exactly what you need to master natural American speech. Another phrase is, no big deal. We touched on it before, but let's reinforce. This phrase is used when something is not a problem. For example, thanks for waiting. It's no big deal. Practice with me. No big deal. It's everyday kindness. Another is as soon as possible, often shortened to ASAP. For example, please call me ASAP. Repeat with me. As soon as possible. ASAP. Both are very common. Another phrase is come to think of it. This is used when you suddenly remember something. For example, come to think of it, I left my keys at home. Repeat with me. Come to think of it. It adds a thoughtful tone. Another phrase is, give me a break. People use this when they are frustrated or don't believe something. For example, you're late again? Give me a break. Practice with me. Give me a break. It's casual, sometimes playful, sometimes annoyed. Another everyday phrase is just in case. This is used to describe something you do for safety or preparation. For example, bring an umbrella just in case it rains. Repeat with me, just in case. It's polite and very useful. Let's create a dialogue to practice these. Person A says, Can you call me as soon as possible? Person B says, Yeah, I'll do it ASAP. Person A says, Thanks, you always help. It's no big deal for you. Person B says, Come to think of it, I forgot my notes. Person A says, Give me a break, you always forget. Person B says, I'll write them down, just in case. Repeat these lines slowly with me. These words make you sound like you live inside the flow of American conversations. When you hear these words and repeat them with me, you're not just learning vocabulary. You're building confidence, rhythm, and fluency. Remember, Americans don't speak with long, perfect textbook sentences in daily life. They use these short, simple, flexible words that make their conversations light and natural. Let's keep practicing with another everyday phrase, make sense. This is used to show you understand or agree with something logical. For example, we should leave early to avoid traffic. Yeah, that makes sense. Repeat with me. That makes sense. It's polite, thoughtful, and very common in American English. Another phrase is sort of makes sense. People add sort of when they're not completely sure. For example, the rule sort of makes sense, but it's still confusing. Repeat with me. Sort of makes sense. It softens the opinion, making it sound casual. Another phrase you'll hear often is, "You know what I mean." This is a way of checking if the other person understands you. For example, "It was really busy, you know what I mean?" Repeat with me. You know what I mean. It's used constantly in conversation to stay connected with the listener. Another everyday word is honestly. People use it to emphasize the truth of what they're saying. For example, honestly, I don't like that idea, or honestly, it was amazing. Repeat with me. Honestly. It gives weight and emotion to your sentences. Another phrase is believe it or not. This is often used before something surprising. For example, believe it or not, I ran into my teacher at the store. Practice with me. Believe it or not, it adds drama and interest to your storytelling. Another useful expression is, that's crazy. Americans say this when something is surprising, exciting, or even strange. For example, he bought a car yesterday. That's crazy. Repeat with me. That's crazy. It's casual and expressive. Another phrase is, I can't believe it. This is used for surprise or shock. For example, I can't believe it, we actually won. Repeat with me. I can't believe it. It's emotional and natural in daily speech. Let's build a practice conversation. Person A says, believe it or not, I saw my old friend today. Person B says, honestly, that's crazy. Person A says, yeah, I can't believe it either. Person B says, well, that makes sense. People still live around here. You know what I mean? Repeat this with me. Listen to the flow. Notice how natural and emotional these phrases sound together. Another very common phrase is by myself. This simply means alone. For example, I went shopping by myself. Repeat with me, by myself. It's short, simple, and common. Another one is on my own. This means the same as by myself, but sometimes adds a sense of independence. For example, I fixed it on my own. Repeat with me, on my own. It's useful when you want to highlight that you did something without help. Another phrase is all the time. Americans use this to mean very often. For example, I listen to music all the time. Repeat with me, all the time. It's common and natural in daily conversations. Another one is once in a while. This means not often, but sometimes. For example, I go hiking once in a while. Repeat with me. Once in a while. It's a great phrase for describing habits. Another everyday phrase is from time to time. This also means sometimes, but it sounds a little softer. For example, I read novels from time to time. Repeat with me. From time to time. It's very natural and polite. Another phrase is once in a blue moon. This is a fun, colorful way to say something happens very rarely. For example, I go camping once in a blue moon. Practice with me. Once in a blue moon. You'll hear this often in storytelling. Let's do another practice conversation. Person A says, "Do you go to the movies a lot?" Person B says, "Yeah, I go all the time." Person A says, "Really? I only go once in a while." Person B says, "Yeah, sometimes from time to time, but going with friends happens once in a blue moon." Repeat this step by step with me. It gives you natural rhythm for talking about habits in English. Another phrase is, "It's up to you." People use this to give someone else the choice. For example, "Where do you want to eat?" It's up to you. Repeat with me. It's up to you. It's casual, polite, and very common. Another phrase is, "I don't mind." This means you are okay with something. For example, "Do you want pizza or pasta?" I don't mind. Practice with me. I don't mind. It makes your answer sound flexible. Another is either way. This is another way of saying you're fine with both options. For example, "We can take the bus or drive. Either way works." Repeat with me. Either way. It's simple and natural. Another common phrase is, "Let's see." People say this when they need to think for a moment. For example, "Let's see. What should we do tomorrow?" Repeat with me. Let's see. It's a natural way to pause and think. Another phrase is, "Let me check." People use this when they want to confirm something. For example, "When is the meeting?" Let me check. Repeat with me. Let me check. It's practical and used often. Let's practice with a small conversation. Person A says, "Where do you want to eat?" Person B says, "It's up to you, I don't mind." Person A says, "Either way works, but let's see what's open." Person B says, "Good idea, let me check." Repeat each line slowly with me. This is how everyday conversations really happen. Another everyday phrase is, "no idea." This is a casual way of saying you don't know. For example, "Where is she?" I have no idea. Repeat with me. No idea. It's quick, common, and very natural. Another one is not sure. Americans often use this instead of saying, "I don't know." For example, "What time is it?" Not sure. Repeat with me. Not sure. It's short and everyday English. Another phrase is sort of on its own. People often use it as a softener. For example, "Are you ready?" Sort of. Repeat with me. Sort of. It's casual, flexible, and very common. Another expression is more or less. This means approximately. For example, "It's more or less finished." Repeat with me. More or less. It's a natural, polite way of speaking casually. Another phrase is, "That's about it." People use this when they're finished explaining something. For example, "We just need bread and milk. That's about it." Repeat with me. That's about it. It's friendly and natural. Let's do another mini conversation. Person A says, "Do you know when the meeting starts?" Person B says, "Not sure. I have no idea." Person A says, "So is it ready?" Person B says, "Sort of, more or less." Person A says, "Okay, that's about it then." Repeat this step by step with me. These words make your speech light, natural, and conversational. Another common word is basically. Americans use this when they want to simplify something. For example, basically, it means the same thing. Repeat with me. Basically. It helps you explain things in an easy way. Another phrase is kind of like that. This is often used when explaining something by comparing it. For example, it's kind of like that show we watched. Repeat with me. Kind of like that. It's soft, casual, and everyday English. Another is something like that. People use it when they don't want to be exact. For example, it cost $10, something like that. Repeat with me. Something like that. It's polite and very common. Another phrase is, and so on. This is used to continue a list without naming everything. For example, we bought apples, oranges, bananas, and so on. Practice with me, and so on. It's simple, polite, and useful. Another phrase is, and stuff. This is casual, less formal than and so on. For example, we talked about school and stuff. Repeat with me. And stuff. It's very natural in casual American English. Everyday English is filled with these little words and phrases. They are the connectors, the softeners, the fillers that keep speech sounding smooth and alive. The more you practice them, the more you'll notice them in TV shows, movies, and real conversations. And once you start using them naturally, you'll feel more confident and connected in your English communication. Another phrase that Americans use all the time is kind of hard. It's a way to soften the difficulty of something. For example, it's kind of hard to explain. Repeat with me. Kind of hard. This softener makes you sound more natural and less formal. Another phrase is sort of strange. This is used when something feels unusual. For example, that was sort of strange. Repeat with me. Sort of strange. Notice how adding sort of makes the sentence more casual and conversational. Another word is literally, again. This word appears so often that you should feel comfortable recognizing it in different contexts. Sometimes it means truly, but often it's just used for emphasis. For example, I was literally so tired. Repeat with me, literally. It keeps coming back because of how much Americans use it. Another phrase is for the most part. This is used to say generally or mostly. For example, the trip was good for the most part. Repeat with me, for the most part. It's soft, polite, and natural. Another expression you'll hear is kind of a big deal. Americans use this to describe something important. For example, graduating is kind of a big deal. Repeat with me, kind of a big deal. It makes your speech expressive and light. Another phrase is, you never know. This is often used to show that anything is possible. For example, take an umbrella, you never know. Practice with me, you never know. It's friendly, everyday advice. Another phrase is, it turns out. People use this when explaining the result of something. For example, it turns out she already knew. Repeat with me. It turns out. It's a very common way to connect ideas in a story. Let's put these into a dialogue. Person A says, how was the trip? Person B says, it was good for the most part. Person A says, anything strange happen? Person B says, yeah, it was sort of strange, but it turns out it was fine. Person A says, Okay, that makes sense. It's kind of a big deal to travel anyway. Person B says, yeah, you never know what will happen. Repeat with me. These little words give life to the story. Another phrase is, I guess not. This is used when something isn't true after all. For example, did she come? I guess not. Repeat with me. I guess not. It's casual and very common. Another one is, let it go. This means stop worrying about something. For example, don't be upset, just let it go. Repeat with me, let it go. It's kind and natural in American English. Another phrase is, it doesn't matter. People use this to say something is not important. For example, do you want coffee or tea? It doesn't matter. Repeat with me. It doesn't matter. It's simple and polite. Another expression is no biggie. This is a very casual way of saying no problem. For example, thanks for waiting. No biggie. Repeat with me. No biggie. It's playful and casual. Another one is all good. This is another way to say everything is fine. For example, sorry for the mistake. It's all good. Repeat with me. All good. This is used all the time in daily conversations. Another phrase is, that's what I mean. People use this to emphasize their point. For example, it's too late. That's what I mean. Repeat with me. That's what I mean. It's common, natural, and friendly. Let's practice with a mini conversation. Person A says, did she call? Person B says, I guess not. Person A says, oh well, let it go, it doesn't matter. Person B says, thanks, it's no biggie, it's all good. Person A says, right, that's what I mean. Repeat these lines with me. They sound short, natural, and very American. Another very common phrase is figure it out. This means to solve a problem. For example, don't worry, we'll figure it out. Repeat with me. Figure it out. It's everyday problem-solving language. Another phrase is work it out. This means to fix something or resolve an issue. For example, we'll work it out together. Repeat with me. Work it out. It's positive and supportive. Another expression is end up. This is used to describe the result of something. For example, we ended up staying home. Repeat with me. End up. It's very common in storytelling. Another is wind up. This means the same as end up. For example, we wound up watching TV all night. Repeat with me. Wind up. It's another natural way to describe results. Another phrase is turn around. This can mean literally to change direction, or it can mean to improve. For example, the company turned around after new leadership. Repeat with me. Turn around. It's flexible and common. Let's build another dialogue. Person A says, I don't know how to fix this. Person B says, don't worry, we'll figure it out. Person A says, so if we don't, what happens? Person B says, we'll work it out, it always ends up fine. Person A says, yeah, maybe it will wind up better than expected. Person B says, exactly, things can turn around. Repeat these lines slowly with me. These are the small expressions that create natural English rhythm. Another common phrase is, "It's up to me," or "It's up to us." This is used to say the decision belongs to someone. For example, "It's up to me to finish this work." Repeat with me, "It's up to me," or "It's up to us." These are everyday phrases of responsibility. Another one is, "It's my turn." Americans use this a lot in games or group activities. For example, "It's my turn to play." Repeat with me, "It's my turn." It's casual and useful. Another phrase is, "What's going on with?" People use this to ask for updates. For example, "What's going on with the project?" Repeat with me, "What's going on with?" It's very common in daily life and work conversations. Another is, "What's the point?" People use this to ask why something matters. For example, "What's the point of doing it that way?" Repeat with me, "What's the point?" It's everyday, casual questioning. Another phrase is, "That's fair." Americans use this to show they think something is reasonable. For example, "You need more time." That's fair. Repeat with me, "That's fair." It's polite and natural. Let's practice with a dialogue. Person A says, "What's going on with the report?" Person B says, "It's up to me, I'll finish it." Person A says, "Okay, so it's your turn now?" Person B says, "Yeah, but honestly, what's the point of rushing?" Person A says, "That's fair, no worries." Repeat these lines with me. This is how daily conversations sound in American English. Another phrase is "in the long run." This means over a long period of time. For example, "In the long run, it will be worth it." Repeat with me, "In the long run." It's thoughtful and natural. Another one is, "at the end of the day." Americans love this phrase to summarize. For example, "At the end of the day, family is what matters." Repeat with me, "At the end of the day." It's warm and often used. Another phrase is, "sooner or later." This means eventually. For example, "Sooner or later we all learn." Repeat with me, "sooner or later." It's common and poetic. Another is, "time will tell." This is used to show that results will be known in the future. For example, "Will it work?" Time will tell. Repeat with me, "time will tell." It's simple and wise. Another everyday phrase is, "keep in mind." This means remember something. For example, "Keep in mind, it's going to rain tomorrow." Repeat with me, "keep in mind." It's practical and very American. Let's practice a final mini conversation. Person A says, "At the end of the day, it's about balance." Person B says, "Yeah, in the long run, it makes sense." Person A says, "Sooner or later, it will get easier." Person B says, "Time will tell, but keep in mind, we're learning every day." Repeat these slowly with me. These are the kinds of words that make English feel alive, human, and connected. So, my friend, you've just practiced dozens and dozens of the most common words and expressions Americans use every single day. These are the phrases you'll hear in coffee shops, classrooms, offices, streets, and homes across the United States. The more you listen, repeat, and use them, the more confident and fluent you'll feel in your daily conversations. I want you to remember something important. Fluency is not about sounding perfect. It's about connecting, about being able to express yourself with the words that people really use. And you're already doing that here, step by step, with me. So keep practicing these words. Listen to them. Repeat. Eat them and try them in your own life. Talk to yourself, practice with friends, or even record your voice and listen back. Every small step makes you stronger and more confident, and the more you do it, the more natural English will feel for you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. You've done an amazing job, and I'm proud of you for staying with this lesson all the way through. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep moving forward. Your English will grow every single day if you stay consistent. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future lessons. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next session.